Stop me if you've encountered this problem before. You're out exploring the world around you, milling about in your train, and you got distracted somehow. Hour by hour strikes by, and you've spent too much time in the simulator, and now you're seeing this. No, World War III hasn't started. The sun is setting. Or is it rising? It's kind of hard to tell. The sun is there at all in the morning. OpenRails is a fantastic and rugged train simulator that deserves a much better environment than Microsoft Train Simulator. And I was hoping the dev team was going to fix it, but that doesn't seem a priority. Being one who is fond of the colors of sunset and sunrise, in fact, being near the Chesapeake Bay allows me to experience both to the horizon as often as I have attention to pay to it. I'm also an amateur astronomer, meaning the twilight has special meaning for me. And lastly, as one being very proud of monophasic deep dark sleep, I care about the absolute darkness of night. So basically, I'm in a good spot to know what I'm trying to fix. Any fix worthy of acceptance must have met these 6 criteria. 1. The sky must remain blue in some amount until the end of nautical twilight. 2. The stars must not appear until after the disk of the sun vanishes below the horizon and must show as full before the end of astronomical twilight. 3. The sky color at sunset must be refined to reflect the typical sunset color under clear weather conditions. 4. Prevent any huge, rapid, unrealistic changes in color. Basically, the yellow flash that happened a little before sunset. 5. Adjust the ground darkness to prohibit reading unlit signs beyond civil twilight. 6. The brightness of the ground must begin decreasing after the sun is less than 15 degrees above the horizon and must be completely dark at the end of civil twilight. After 2 weeks of learning color vector mathematics and operations, I have arrived at a solution to all 6 problems. It is fully tested in all 4 seasons, the 3 weather modes, as far north as Norway and as far south as the Blue Mountains in Australia. Here is what it looks like. Welcome to the train. We will be operating a southbound MARC train, and that means cab car, from Perryville to Washington Union Station, making all stops. On the top right corner, I've got a compass showing you about where the sun should be. Obviously, it's the west. It's springtime. I've got the track monitor, which is mainly to help me drive. And at the bottom, I've got the next station driving aid, which contains the time. And it's currently 16:56, which means we are just 3 minutes after the time where the sun is less than 15 degrees above the horizon, which means this is the point where the sun is going to start to change color. And my goal is to make sure that the sun looks exactly the way it did in our feature presentation at the very beginning of this video. If that is the case, I'm going to try to distribute the code so that you too can have the sunset that you deserve. Okay, I guess the doors do not open on this train, unfortunately. So I just want to note that we will be following the speed limits, but this train is not timetabled. I'm not going to be looking for us to stop at any particular station at any particular time, and that's so that I can pay attention to the sunset and confirm that it is doing exactly what it is supposed to. And I will try to narrate that as things unfold. So we will go ahead and depart from Perryville. So we will go ahead and depart from Perryville at the top of the hour. In the meantime, this is a high-speed off-peak train. Will be pushed by the MARC HHP8, which is still in service on the Northeast Corridor. And a very beautiful, realistic view from inside the Sumito Nippon Sharyo MARC single-level cars, my favorite in the MARC fleet. In the meantime, we can get ready for departure, so I think the pantograph is up. So we'll put the reverser forward. And we can turn the lights on dim. Actually, that's going to be a little bit distracting. Let's leave the lights off until they need to turn on. That way, we'll be confirming that the lights need to come on at the right time in order for me to see the ground. So we've got just about 1 minute until departure. Okay, we've got 15 seconds to go, and the next item on our sun schedule is sunset, which is supposed to happen at 1812, and that's the bottom sun, so that's the upper limb of the sun when that disappears below the horizon. All right, here we go. So when I talk about sunset, I usually talk about what I call top sun, center sun, and bottom sun. So top sun is what I call when it's kind of confusing when the upper limb, the lower limb of the sun. That's why it's confusing, because I say top and it's the lower limb. It's when the lower limb of the sun touches the horizon. So at that point, the sun starts to disappear. Then what I call center sun is when the exact center of the sun is on the horizon. And then there's bottom sun, which is when the exact top of the sun disappears, basically taking the sun from view. And the time that I have for geometric sunset is the bottom sun time. In real life, top sun and bottom sun, I think, are somewhere on the order of 2 minutes apart. But in Train Simulator, and specifically OpenRails, the sun is anomalously large. Okay, going back to speeds, we are not a Bombardier bi-levels or Kawasaki's, which means we're going to follow the Class C speed limits. If I need to find where we are, we're at like milepost 60. Let's see, I need to scroll up so that I can see my cab speed. Oh, that's interesting. So it says a cab speed is using your generic 79 mile per hour speed limit. There we go, found it. So we are, this is a 105 here. This is going to be a cap 70. Is this going to update for me? Does not look like it. Now this is interesting. So it thinks that the top speed of this cab car is 79, so I'm a little bit concerned that as soon as we hit 79, our acceleration is going to suddenly disappear. Watch the projected speed, and we're through 80, so thank goodness we get to do high speed here. And it's almost time to start slowing for Aberdeen. I want to keep an eye on the sun. Like we do brake pretty quickly. The other thing that I just realized is this path I think is set for a high-speed train, so it's moving us on the number 2 track. In real life, a train of this sort, a MARC train that is, would be stopping on the outer line at Aberdeen. Oh, are we going to get a chance to move over here? Get the ooh, nice. So I can actually move the train here. And again, you know, I'm gonna do things that are a little bit, you know, wouldn't be realistic, but what I'm going for here is just a long time to watch the sunset. And what fun is there in watching the sunset when you're completely still in one place and not doing anything? So the goal here is to actually do something while watching the sun, and to allow you guys to see it as well for yourself, to know as proof that it's working. Yeah, I think we honestly could have started decelerating right here and put the brakes on at this point, and we probably would have been okay. I know trains in real life stopping at Aberdeen typically are doing over 55 as they are making this turn, so we probably want to hit the brakes now. station stop, we'll take a look at the sun and see how we're doing. Oh, that's new. Is that a stop indicator? I don't remember seeing those before. Oh yeah, there's one on that side too. How about that? So let's see. If we stopped at the stop indicator, we'd probably have one extra car on the platform here. So I guess the stop indicators, honestly, are built for about this train length. MARC does put stop indicators. They'll say MARC 1, MARC 2, MARC 3, and MARC 4, and I think that has to do with the amount of cars that are on there times 2. So the sun is just starting to kind of turn from that yellowy white to kind of a yellowy orange. We'll be on our way now. Next stop is Edgewood. And then with lighting, there's 3 things with lighting that I expect to happen. At some point, I'm going to need to turn on my headlights on dim. At some point, I'm going to need to turn them on full. And then at some point, I'm going to need to activate the cab light. So I'm not exactly certain what order everything is going to happen in. I guess one of the things that I do want to do is honestly test when that happens for each instance. You know, where does X happen? Where does Y happen? Okay, I think we're somewhere around milepost 60 something. Actually, it wasn't a 105 that we were in, it was 95. I got confused. I think I jumped in the wrong place on my speed timetable here. That's what happens when I do a non-conventional service. I have to find my location here. And I'm just jumping in the middle. So right now we should be in unbroken 110, and the only time that changes is when we get to milepost 78. That's going to be the first curve north of Gunpowder. So we're a long way, although we do have to switch tracks at some point. So I'm expecting a reduced signal, and because the track geometry doesn't work this way, in real life, the middle track, which is track, I think that's track 4, honestly, or it's track 3, and track 3, and we're on track 4. Track 3 ends and comes into track 4, and track 4 becomes track 3, and you can go through at full speed and not have to worry. But Train Simulator doesn't get that right in this instance. Okay. So if I remember correctly, we ignore the first time we see the reduced indication, and we pick it up. Whoops, I'm going too fast. 110. 110 is my limit. So in real life, trains would be able to blow through this at full speed, and if we were on the middle track, then we would have an issue. The reason we moved over to the middle track back there is because the speed to move over back there was a 70, and it looks like a 70. Here it's a 70, but I can assure you that when we come up to the interlocking, you're going to be like, yeah, this would derail the train in real life. And of course it would, so it's a little bit, oh, that is an approach medium, so that's 30 miles an hour. I'm going to bring us up to suppression here. The track monitor says to expect a cab speed of 70, but that's not what the signal told me. Let's see how our sun's doing. Okay, kind of turning gold at this point. Alright, so I'm at 38, so we'll just look and see what signal we get. And if I see a medium, we'll keep slowing. If I see a limited, we can speed up to 45. I think, yes, it's flashing. Okay, up to 45 it is. So I think this says 70, but I mean, yeah, look at how sharp this is. Taking this thing at 70 would be insane. Even taking it at 45 is almost the limit. Let's get our setting sun in here. I can start hiding the root monitor. I think I've done it a number of times in previous videos, but I'm not going to do it in this video because my goal here is to almost, not quite, but almost be distracted by the sun. Okay, I think I see Edgewood up ahead. Disappeared. Now the interesting thing is going to be what happens when we get to the Baltimore tunnels, because obviously we won't be able to see the sun when we're in the tunnels. So we're at 17:16 and sunset is scheduled for yes, scheduled for 18:12, so that's about 55 minutes from now. Alright, we will pull out of here at 17:30. Of course, it's taking a lot less throttle to get us going because we're being driven. We have 4 small coaches being driven by an HHP8. So I think I've been up to notch 5, the highest yet. I seriously doubt I'm going to need anything more than that. Okay, this is our 100 here, so I do not think it's going to affect us because we're just now hitting the sound changeover, which means 80. Yeah, it is going to affect us. Alright, coming up to the Gunpowder River. So Martin Airport is going to be just before, I think it's around milepost 87. So we should have a little bit of a cruise here. There's no track switches or other restrictions that take place that we need to make, so you can have a little bit of rest period. Reminds me, I also need to keep an eye on the east and make sure that that's still showing up as blue. It's one of the issues in the previous build. The issue right now with the official build is that if you over here it turns red and pink, and over here it's black. So I'm trying to avoid that. Okay, I'm seeing a little bit more color in the sky now, so sun is starting to pick up an orange hue now. Everything looks good except for the moon. The moon's always been broken in this game. Oh boy, that's Warm State Airport. Going straight to continuous service here. No way we're gonna make that. I know it's been a long time since I've done this timetable, but oh my gosh, I can't believe that I said, what, 87? I guess I was looking at Bayview. Bayview is at 92. It's a good thing I'm not on the timetable here. Honestly, it's okay, because I'd prefer more time to less time with the sun, because my goal would be to get to full night, and in order to do that, we'd really need to take the train out on, oh, what's that place? On the Pittsburgh line. We'd have to go Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. Well, maybe not that far. Harrisburg to Pittsburgh to get the whole change. So in springtime, the full change from day to night, if I did my coding right, should take from 1653 to 1948. So basically 3 hours for everything. So let's see, 3 hours would be a SEPTA timetable out of Philadelphia plus a MARC timetable. 3 hours would also be, I could do a New York to Washington. Yeah, that would probably be a good fit. But I haven't done a MARC trip in a while. Okay, we'll pull out at 26:30 in just over 30 seconds from now. Alright, so over here we have a gold-orange sun, very good. And over here we still have blue sky, no stars. All as the doctor ordered. Alright, so we're about to hit the Baltimore tunnels between here and the next station. Next, of course, is Baltimore Penn Station. And then from there we'll have an hour left, so we need to make sure that we actually get through sunset. So we might need to pause at Baltimore if we're not getting close enough to sunset. Let's see, sunset will happen at 1812. Yeah, that's still... And right now our anticipated end of timetable is at 1827, which takes us to, yeah, halfway between sunset and civil twilight dusk.
So we might have to wait a little bit longer at Baltimore Penn. Stick the camera right between the two 138 kilovolt towers. That's a cool perspective. One, honestly, that I should use more often. Alright, so this curve and the next one coming up is going to be a 90 for us. Man, I'm getting like old train simulator vibes when I was like, oh my gosh, the sun is setting, except now it looks, to me, so much better. That's a good sign. Yeah, now we're starting to see some colors. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do, because honestly, I feel like this looks much more realistic. But I know that's an opinion. But I try and base that as much in fact as I can. But of course, when you're talking about color, that's an opinion thing that's really, really hard to nail down, even with concrete facts. Like apparently, people can see more than RGB, what you would have on a computer monitor screen. And I mean, you can't even display those colors on a computer. So you can't even describe a color using a hex code, interestingly enough. All right, I think we're back up to 100. And then we've got 50 coming in to Bayview. So I think this is River interlocking. And if I recall, this is OpenRails 1.4, which effectively breaks the ability to show sidings and such, which is really annoying. Okay, this is point. This is our slowdown. So we're going to get down to 50 now. Yeah, I mean, one of the funny things that I liked doing in Train Simulator is looking at like the different names of the sidings on VBSR, the Westfalbahn, the Ratsbahn, Solerbahn, and Randsfjordbahn in Norway, and just looking at the names. So I think goods siding translates as Jodspor, but of course my American brain is going to be like, no man, that says Godspor. So it's just a goofy pastime. I like it. Like what's going on here. Seen over here? Yep, still blue. Good. Okay, we are down to our designated speed. Another time that I also need stuff for the siding labels for the VBSR route is to be able to tell what's closed, because the stuff that's closed will have a neglaget indication on it. It'll have like that label on it, and then I'll know, okay, this station's closed, don't stop here. Granted, I've probably spent enough time on the VBSR to know what's closed and what's not. But there's a few out there, like I think Ostereinstedt is a example of a, oh, we've got a, oh no, that's not us. But we do have a decrease, it's after the next turn. We'll have a decrease to 45 miles per hour. So at the end of this straightaway, this is where we need to be doing 0.5. I see that pink on the horizon, I'm like, don't you do it, and I look over here, I'm like, it's fine. There's no cloud vomit all over the sky. Oh, thank goodness, the sound got fixed. Alright, so we're at 45 all the way to the western portal of Union Tunnel. And unlike last time, we are not going to switch over to, and almost every other time, we're not going to switch over to Train Simulator 2021, because that would stop the test that's in progress right now with the sun. Alright, we will turn our lights on here for the Union Tunnel. Last look at the sun. Still looks good. Sure in real life this tunnel is straight and double tracked, although I think only one track is still in operation. So it's effectively a double track tunnel, but that's only occupied by a single track. water tank. I should consider driving the K4S. I always forget about that. You know, there's still coal towers and water tanks along the route in case I want to drive older trains. Like, I know I've driven a GG1, but I really should take a K4S Washington to New York. That would be really cool. That was back before the days of electrification. All right, let's do a time check. So it is 17:38. It's going to take about 1 hour from here to finish the timetable. So about 18:39 is going to be the ending time. We want to end after Civil Twilight, and Civil Twilight is supposed to end at 18:45. So let's wait 6 minutes, and after the next 6 minutes, we will be on our way. So if you want to skip ahead until my clock here says 17:45. I'm not planning on saying anything until that time. So until then, if you want to stick around, watch the sun. Otherwise, jump forward to just before 17:45. We'll be pulling out right at 17:45. Okay, checking the sky again. Got a little bit of orange and gold here as expected. And if I turn around, blue sky, no stars. Perfect. And I think we're getting pretty close to top sun now. Alright, 1745, here we go. Continuing on to Washington Union Station. And let me just turn my lights off real quick so I can see progress. I can see the ground starting to get a little bit darker. And that's expected because once we're past the 15-degree mark from the horizon, that's when I set it to start ramping down. So that's good. Alright, lights back on for the BNP tunnel. Hopefully, when we get to West Baltimore, we should get a view of the sun a little bit more towards the horizon, and we should be able to make an assessment at that point if we're at what I said, top sun, which is where the lower limb of the sun touches the horizon, and we start losing parts of the sun. Got one more check. Perfect. Very nice. This is really exciting now, just going around this sharp turn in the tunnel, you know, anticipating getting back above ground because you want to see the sun setting. Maybe we can take a peek in the fire escape here. No, not really. We're too far down. The tunnel is not that deep in real life. I don't even think it's half that deep. It's maybe like the tunnel roof plus maybe 15 feet, which is like, honestly, probably just 2/3 the height of the tunnel. From what I understand, it's just enough so that people's basements and their utilities under them have room to flow, and then that's it. It's, you know, it's like a couple feet, maybe 2 or 3, and then it's tunnel sill. Yeah, that's way deeper. At least where the fire escapes are. I mean, the terrain is a little bit hilly, so it is possible that we might get that far underground at points, but not where the fire escapes are. The way I know that is because you can actually look up if you're riding in a train on the side facing in, like right here, you can just simply look up, you know, from the window and see the surface. Alright, almost through. As expected, I can already tell the difference. So a little bit more orange in the sky, still pretty manageable though. No cloud vomit yet. Alright, we'll turn the lights back off for the time being. And yeah, already I can see it's just a little bit darker. Every minute it gets a little bit darker. the sky about 60 or 90 degrees from the sun is starting to have that kind of peachy glow to it, which is nice. That's another thing that I honestly didn't require, but ended up happening, was good nonetheless. We'll stop at West Baltimore, and then we'll see if we can get a sun position assessment again. It'd be nice if those stop position signs were at every station. As you can see, West Baltimore does not have them. Alright, sun position. Let's see, so the top of the sun's there, center of the sun's there, bottom of the sun's there, so I do not think we are quite to top sun. We might be when we get to Halethorpe, but we're not right now, so let's see. Sunset is at, scheduled for 18:12, so that's 20 minutes from now. I think it usually takes 15 to 20 minutes from top sun to bottom sun, so honestly, you know, we're pretty close. I think it's definitely going to happen in the next 5 minutes. Still blue sky, no stars. I'm going to go for a terrible WMATA computerized voice announcing the next station stop. The next station stop is Halethorpe. What is that thing? Is that just a warehouse with an open door? I'm surprised I've never noticed that before. There's a few things in this on this route that change their like actual appearance to the time of year, and I'm not. Yeah, it's a warehouse with an open door, and I'm not talking about the trees. Like, I'm pretty sure that there's one season, I think it's autumn, where one of the buildings, like a factory like as big as that one, just catches on fire, and you see like this massive fire. I think it's pretty close to Frankfurt Junction, if I remember correctly. And then there's like one season where there's like a train wreck out at like Conemaugh Junction. I'm pretty sure that's separate from the Johnstown flood event, which is its own thing. Shadow areas are starting to look a little bit darker. And by that, I mean to the point where like I'm starting to think that we're close to turning the headlights on. Too bad I can't rapid fire my horn. Alright, let's see. So we are at 110. And then we've got a 105 coming up. I missed my chance to look at the sun again. All right, I'd say we're there. Top sun, 1755. Whoa! This is not at all where Halethorpe is in real life. I guess it's been a while since I've driven the South Corridor in OpenRails. But yeah, there's supposed to be like a 2-mile straightaway between that turn and Halethorpe Station. You know, I think I might have found the missing 2 miles. So, in the original train simulator, there are mileposts every so often. And then all of a sudden in Halethorpe, the mileposts start like spreading out, and it's really confusing. I think that was because there were 2 teams, one building north from Washington and the other building south from Philadelphia. And they met in the Halethorpe area, and they didn't get to the same part, so they were at the same location. So there were like 2 whole miles of the NEC that just didn't exist in the simulator, and it's like one thing would you would just magically transition into an area that was 2 miles down the line. I think that's what happened, because yeah, that turn right there occurs at least a full mile before the Halethorpe Station. It occurs about that far before the curve at Wynn ends, so that aspect is right. Ooh, nice. Okay, we didn't cut. I thought we had nailed the edge of the platform. It doesn't look like we quite did that. Okay, sun check. Center of the sun is there. And I'm going to assume that we're basically level with the treetops right now, so yeah, we're definitely beyond top sun. Center sun, we're probably another 5 or 10 minutes from. So a little bit of horizon glow here and here. A little bit of peach. No stars. And blue sky behind the sun. Perfection. Alright, next stop is BWI, Thurgood Marshall Airport. probably going to hit center sun between BWI and Halethorpe, and bottom sun probably around Bowie State. The Patapsco River, now entering Anne Arundel County, which means there should be a 90 up here for some random reason. I haven't been able to figure this out. It's no interlocking and no tunnel, no bridge, no curve, and yet all tracks 90 for some weird reason. We are close to center sun. Almost. I think when we get up to speed, we'll be at center sun. No stars and blue sky. And I think you can see a little bit of a discoloration in the sky. I'm pretty sure that's caused by this airline. Yeah. You can see the airplane is following the path of that circle. Okay, that's what that is then. Okay, so that doesn't have anything to do with my coding. Next stop, Odenton. Alright, coming out of this curve, we are 110 all the way to New Carrollton. Actually, Landover. So I think another way to tell that you're at center sun is when the shadows suddenly disappear. I think that's a little trick that you can use. Yeah, we're not there yet. Maybe when we get to Odenton. He says no stars and blue sky. I like how this train uses basically all of its speedometer minus one tiny little bit. The Acela works the same way, how it goes up to 160 and its top speed limit is 150, so it uses like 95% of the speedometers. I hate when you have a freight train that can do like max 65 when it's like light, except railroad rules prohibit that, and its speedometer goes up to like 120. It's like, what in the heck is that for? Like, if you go past 90, I'm sorry, but you're probably dead. The tracks just cannot handle those speeds. To be honest, if you're in a freight train in the US and you're doing over like 90 miles an hour, it's best if you don't have the speed, because that will probably be the inverse of seconds to your death. So if you see 90, it's like, okay, we might die in 30 seconds. If you see 110, you might be like, okay, we're going to die in like 10 seconds. All right, we've still got shadows. We look really, really close to center sun. Keep a close eye on those shadows. They should be disappearing any second now. Actually, the weird thing is, we're at 1812. That was when we were supposed to have sunset. Maybe what's going on is I tested this in mid-Pennsylvania, and I do know that the OpenRails system does recognize latitude and longitude. So it could be that we're 1.5 degrees further south of where I tested this, and that 1.5 degrees is making a difference. So the sunset might actually be about 5 minutes later because of our position. And that's not a problem with me. It's not a problem with my code. It's not a problem with OpenRails. It's just how the world works in real life, and I guess I forgot to take that into account. Yeah, center sun. So unfortunately, I don't think we will make it all the way to Washington, D.C. In time to see civil twilight, but we should come close. Again, blue sky and no stars. Yeah, now the ground is starting to look darker. This is the what reminds me of like when I'm driving down the highway on the way into work, and you can't see the sun because it's hidden behind trees, and you're like not sure if it's up or not. And the way you can tell is you look in the east, and if you see like a pink glow, then you know it's either up or it's about to come up. Okay, next stop, Bowie State University. That moon really ticks me off. I'm almost inclined to remove it for my own local code. I'm not going to touch it because, at least for the time being, because I want to share what I have now with the OpenRails team and see if they'll accept it, because I think this is a leap forward in terms of environmental files. All right, do we have shadows? Yes, we still have shadows. Yeah, I like where this is going, because now it's starting to be like, okay, should we turn the lights on? And that's when you're inside, then that's generally sunset is when you want to turn the lights on. If you're outside, you're generally okay until the end of civil twilight, which is why I was aiming to get to that on this journey. But yeah, the sky is starting to look that kind of beige color that it looks when the sun is like rising or setting. Oh yeah, that's a yes for shadows. By now, if this were the unmodded version of OpenRails, what the heck is that? We're in the middle of the Patuxent Wildlife Refuge. Is that the Patuxent Wildlife Refuge wildlife towers? Yeah, if we were in the unmodded version of OpenRails right now, the sun would basically be turning red, and it would go whoosh right across the sky and then go back again as if like nothing happened. I love it. This looks so nice. What matters isn't the time that the sun sets, because that's controlled by a separate process in OpenRails. I didn't touch that. The level of light you see and the color of the sky is what I changed, but I did not change anything with the solar geometry. So sunset is time is totally out of my hands. Now that being said, you know, this part of the world in springtime, the sun sets anywhere from 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. So as long as we're somewhere in that range, you know, it's just about what day you're actually on. Well, this is where Bowie State is in real life. But not in this rendition. Could be that the OpenRails, or not, I shouldn't say OpenRails, it's not that team, the NEC Track Team was trying to simulate the old Bowie Station. But the old Bowie Station is not here. It's actually a little bit further down, just underneath that bridge right there, about where the center of the screen is right now. It is basically aside that tower, the Bowie Tower. And you can actually still see the platform remnants today. There's like 2 concrete pads. Okay. Yeah, there's still shadows. Okay, we still do not have the center sun. But it looks like we're close. I'm surprised we're not seeing it. On the other side, blue sky, no stars. I love this. Next stop, Seabrook. Okay, so right here is where the old Bowie Station used to be. Right through here. This is fantastic. You know, the other thing too is, I wonder, it might be possible that if you choose the, if you choose a particular day in the same month, might OpenRails actually use the day that you're recording, the day that you load the simulator, as the time to simulate the sunset. So that would also make a difference. 2 extra days in March would gain you about 5 minutes of light. Because it's pretty far off, but like I said, you know, I didn't aim to change that, and there's no particular reason why I felt that I should. Because, you know, if it sets at a different time, then okay, it's a different day in the spring. You know, if it sets 20 minutes later, okay, maybe it's not March 21st, maybe it's April 14th, you know, something like that. Alright, I am noticing the cab getting a little bit darker now, too. I am not seeing shadows anymore. Oh, nope, nope, right there. Tiny little bit of sunlight getting through there. So we're right there. We have got to be, so I can line up the furthest trees with the closest trees there and get a perfect angle to the horizon right there. We have got to be beyond center sun. We're probably halfway to bottom sun, because mind you, the treetops is our horizon, right? If I go all the way down to the ground, now you can see there's hardly any sun left. Yeah, it's right there. We're almost to bottom sun. The end of Civil Twilight is supposed to be 1845. That's 20 minutes from now. In the east, blue sky, no stars. Onward to New Carrollton. building lights. That is something that I noticed happens when the sun does set. So the fact that the building lights are on confirms that we are beyond center sun now. And in the next few minutes is about when I should start to want to turn the headlights on. In fact, I'm kind of feeling it right now. Usually the first 5 to 10 minutes after sunset is pretty mellow as far as light goes. It's about 20 minutes that things start to really get dark. Now it varies based on where you are. Like obviously if you're in Alaska or Norway and you're having like 20-hour days, it's not going to be starting to get dark 20 minutes after sunset. It could be more than a full hour after that. And if you're in the tropics, it might only be 15 minutes. So, you know, it all depends on where you are and the time of year, but I know around this area it takes about 20 minutes before it really starts getting dark. And you know, the building lights being turned on about sunset is realistic. That's generally what I've noticed. I think I have pretty good night vision, and I usually like to start turning the lights on around sunset, unless I have a direct view to the sun. Let's see. We are very close to bottom sun. If I do the same trick lining up the trees, we're maybe 1 or 2 minutes from bottom sun. In the east, blue sky and no noticeable stars. All right, we'll hold here until 18:30. Honestly, I think 18:30 is it for bottom sun. It's pretty much gone. Okay, I'm officially calling sunset. The gate's down. Let the stars come out. And now the sky has that kind of eerie blue glow. And there, yep, there's still a little bit of pink in the west. That should persist for at least another 10 or 20 minutes before, like I said, it starts getting properly dark. Alright, so the difference between sunset and end of civil twilight is about 33 minutes. There's no way that we're going to make that coming out of New Carrollton. It is now dark enough. I'm going to turn my lights on dim. Could work, but I don't want to stare at that for the next billion minutes. So we're going to turn it on full. And I'll check it on... Honestly, it looks like there's no difference. The only difference between dim and full is flashing versus no flashing. So I guess it's more of a binary in this case. Lights on versus off. Let's check the cab light as well. Yeah, see, that did add quite a bit of light. I don't need it, but we're getting close. Okay, I think I might be able to start seeing the first brighter stars. These guys here, that looks like Cassiopeia. Then I thought, yeah, there's one here. Maybe one here. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, I have to really stare at it, and you kind of have to do that in real life when they start coming out. You have to, like, stare at one spot in the sky, and eventually you'll see it. Now this part should be cool because we're going to turn due west, so we should be directly into the western light behind the setting sun. The sun were still up, we should see white, and I'm pretty sure I see yellow, so that confirms that we have definitely gone through bottom sun. So if we look the other way, we got the blue east. Still blue sky, that's good. It can start to fade now. You know, the sun is gone, so direct illumination is gone. One by one, the stars should start to pop out. Alright, we need to get down to 85. Now we got to get down to 45. turn these off, yes, the yard lights are starting to illuminate. I can still just barely see Cassiopeia. I don't think there's going to be any more stars coming out by the time we park this thing at Union Station. That looks pretty sharp. See Washington Union Station coming in there to view. Okay, I might be able to see one faint star out of the window here. Maybe one there as well. And possibly one out the window. So, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot more fading in. So I think this... We saw the first magnitude stars. I think the second magnitude stars are coming in now. So we're now, I think about 10 minutes beyond bottom sun. So this should be about the time that you start to see the brightest stars. That's weird. Why did I have the path coming way out here? I guess it must have been a through path to Northern Virginia. I can already hear the tunnel, but there's no tunnel here. This is how you get south of Union Station through the First Street Tunnel, which is obviously not simulated. But this is technically as far as you can get on the original Northeast Corridor route from Philadelphia. Everything else ends there. Of course, we'd be underground at this point. It's not so right here. Although I am staring towards a pretty dark opening. Wonder if that building is actually supposed to simulate the First Street Tunnel. It's kind of interesting. Let's drop back a little bit. Let's see which building we're looking at. Oh, it's that way up there. I don't think so, but it's actually a nice touch. You know, kind of makes it look like a tunnel portal a little bit. That's not what the First Street Tunnel portal looks like anyway. Whatever. Okay, so we'll turn the lights off now and run the train down here. This is the end of our trip. So if I had to take a guess, I would probably say in 5 more minutes I would need the cab light. That would take us to about 18 minutes after sunset. And that's probably about right, because 20 minutes after is usually when it starts to really get dark. So let's see, still got a little bit of yellow, although it's starting to change to gold. We'll lose that in the last couple minutes. So I'm just going to have to explain the rest because the video is going to end in just a minute or so. But basically what's going to happen is the ground should start to get a little bit darker and reach complete darkness, which is so dark that it looks almost black. It's very hard to see any detail without lighting at the end of civil twilight, so we're definitely nowhere near it. Then at nautical twilight, I'm starting to see more and more stars. At the end of nautical twilight, all the stars should be out and the sky directly overhead should be black. However, there should still be a little bit of light in the western sky, and that will diminish through astronomical twilight, and then when you get to astronomical dusk, everything should be black and we'll be in full night. So looks like we've got second and maybe third magnitude stars coming out, so that's pretty nice. I can clearly see Cassiopeia now. I'm going to bet that if I were in the cab, it would be pretty easy to see. And if you guys want to watch and see what that looks like, just play back the beginning of the video again, you know, when we did that little intro. So I really hope you guys enjoy this ride, and I seriously hope that you enjoy the changes that I've made to the sun. This is honestly what I believe takes OpenRails leaps and bounds forward in terms of sunset simulation. I mean, what I know, this looks so much more realistic than what we had before. I do realize, of course, that's my opinion, so hopefully you guys agree with me, but I love it. I'm gonna keep using this, even if it gets turned down. So thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.